Welcome to another episode of InRange. I have in front of me, of course, the venerable and iconic M16A2. Now, this is a semi-automatic version, but otherwise an M16A2. And it's been said many times that Americans bring target rifles to war, and the M16A2, while being quote-unquote improved from the M16A1, really went that direction. In fact, this rear sight here is completely designed for more effective and accurate fire at the known distance range, which is how people were qualifying at 2, 3, and 500 meters. The idea was that you would snap in with your sling and you would get your dope and you would adjust the elevation based on the range you were shooting at so that your iron sights aligned exactly with the trajectory of the bullet at that range. That's all good, well and dandy and fine on a known distance range when you're engaging a target that you know exactly where it is and the size of it and all those things. But in combat, the likelihood of being able to see a target, recognize that it's something you need to shoot at, and then dial into 400 for you to be able to actually engage it properly is unlikely. One, seeing it at all. Two, doing proper range estimation. And then on top of that, actually being able to then engage the target before it's moved or left the field of view. But that's neither here nor there, and this isn't a video about whether or not the M16A2 is the right decision for a combat rifle or not. But what I can say about this is in shooting high power and being a precision shooter for many decades, the M16A2 sighting system is superb. It is the best irons sighting system you could ever want in terms of being able to dial in and provide accurate fire. So for the most part, we generally accept that a 50-yard zero is the best zero for 5.56 for a combat battle sight zero. You put a red dot on this, you zero it at 50 yards, you confirm it at 200 yards if you can, and you have a trajectory that allows you to hold minute of man, meaning essentially you don't have to worry about holding low or high, all the way up to 300 yards on a regular man-sized target. The trajectory happens to intersect from 50 to 200. So if you have a 50-yard zero, it's also a 200-yard zero, which means you're going to hit a little low at 300 and a little high at 100, but it doesn't really matter. It's all going to intersect with the target of any normal average size that you can see with the Mark I human eyeball. So if you wanted to just use your M16A2 iron sights with a 50/200 yard zero, you could just leave the knob where it is, bottom it out, do your elevation zero on the front sight, and just leave it alone and have a 50/200. But in doing so, you've lost the ability to dial with these target sights should you want to or need to. So if you're ever at a KD range and you happen to know that a target is actually at 450, you should be able to still dial it. But once you've set this and forgotten it at 50/200, this dial no longer works. However, there's an improved Battlesight Zero that I can show you how to do. It's very easy to do, where you can have a 50/200 yard zero and still retain the ability to use the knob here for dialing in known distance elevation. So traditionally, an M16A2, when set to 8/3, would have this elevation bottomed out at the base here. And so you start with a 300 yard zero, which then when you've dialed this all the way around, you'll be at 8/3 again, and you have an 800 yard zero. Realistically in the field, the opportunity to actually see a target, never mind actually accurately engage it at 800 yards, is unrealistic. So we're going to give up a little of the top end of our elevation drum to add some bottom end so we can have a 50/200 yard zero. So when you're set to 8/3, there's a little witness hole right here. And if you put a 1/16 Allen wrench in it, if I can find a little doodle, you can then loosen the set screw by turning it counterclockwise. Once you've loosened that set screw, these two parts of the drum interact separately. This part just sits here. This part actually changes elevation. So you want to hold on to the 8/3 so it doesn't move and turn this bottom elevation drum while holding the loosened Allen screw here. Just turn the bottom, not the top, up 4 clicks. What you've done is brought your elevation system up 4 clicks from the base, but it should still say 8/3 right here, because that way you can see the witness hole. Then tighten your Allen screw. Doot, doot, doot. Once the set screw is set, this now will work again in tandem. So when you turn this, it'll all move as one piece. What you have now is the ability to go down from 8/3 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't need all 4. We're just giving us some wiggle room. So from the 8/3, go back 2 clicks. Like that. Now, when you're there, now do your elevation zero at 50 yards by adjusting the front sight with your elevation tool 2 clicks from backwards from 8/3. you now have a 50/200 yard zero. However, when you bring it back up 2 clicks, you're now set to a 300 yard zero, and your elevation drum will work normally. 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And voila, you now have an improved Battlesight Zero. Go down 2 clicks from your 8/3, 50/200, go back to 8/3, and guess what? You're back to the normal 300, 800, and you can do your known distance stuff, 4, 5, 6, etc. So if you're still rocking irons and an M16A2, these cool, really superb target sights provide more functionality than they were ever actually originally designed with by this quick little trick. Hopefully you'll find it to be useful for you. We have no sponsors, no corporate overlords, no masters. Really, only you, the viewer, keep InRange alive, and it's why we are able to provide an alternative voice in the firearms community. If you already are, thank you so much. If you can't, just subscribe to the channel and share with your friends, and hopefully this little trick helps you zero your M16A2 better. Thanks for watching.